Let's go.
Welcome to the Soul Fam Podcast, where we expand your personal universe. I'm Diana Marquetta, and in each episode, Soul Fam co-founder, co-creator Lexi Strummer-Solden and I interview the world's most rising and longtime experts in consciousness, spirituality, entertainment, healing, and science. From Earth's dimensions and dimensions way, way beyond. On the Soul Fam podcast, our frequencies are high and your heart chakras will open as these powerful voices of today share cutting-edge research, profound experiences, and valuable knowledge for your world in this out-of-this-world, thought-provoking, envelope-pushing interviews that could only take place right here on the Soul Fam podcast. Welcome to the Soul Fam podcast. On today's episode, I'm super excited to bring to you once again Windwalker Dorn, who is a Grammy-nominated musician, artist, and Native American singer. She has 4 platinum, is that correct? And 5 gold records on 4. There'll be 5 in a minute. And right? And
yes.
She's Grammy nominated for this particular album, which is called Living Life. I begged Windwalker to come on this podcast because she has so much wisdom and knowledge to bring us there. Hello.
And you know what? We haven't been nominated yet on this album. I was nominated in 2016.
Say that again.
The votes aren't in yet for this new album or anything. It's been submitted. The Living Life has been submitted, but my nomination was in 2016 for my group Windwalker and the MCW Generations.
Exactly. I apologize for that.
No worries.
I like to have everybody repeat it because I often get these things messy. And if anybody's familiar with the Grammy, Emmys, Academy Awards, it's a whole process and it's a whole entity unto itself. So I'm going to say you're going to be nominated. So there we go.
There you go. I love what you're saying because it's like the future. I'm like, I'm on it. I totally and truly believe that.
Exactly. So I'll calm down a little bit. In this episode, the part of the reason I wanted to ask Windwalker to share her knowledge and wisdom and her music with our audience is because, in part, I feel like her music has a healing quality to it. And it has a depth of wisdom and knowledge that is essential at this point in our evolution as humans and in our healing process on this planet. So, Windwalker, can you talk a little bit about what this most recent music meant to you and talk about how this all came together?
Oh, thank you so very much, because this album came for all of you. I wrote it for everyone that has gone through or is going through or is on the other side of all that strength and inner oneself of who you are. I tried to tap on just a few things that we go through, and I wanted to encourage people to know that no matter what you're going through, you're never alone. You never give up, and never give up your dreams, because if you keep those, that's part of your growth. So living life, it's kind of sassy. It's everything it hits on giving up your pain. That's living life, the song itself that I wrote. And it's all about start living life, because life is so precious, so short. And the older you become, man, the days and the months and the years just pass so fast. So that is all about giving up everything that hold you back, not to forget, but to coddle it and put it into growth. Also, love of a child, the anniversary of my dear friend's son who was murdered here in our little town on Halloween evening. He was 15 years old. And I also work with suicide and all children of all different kinds of genres. And so I wrote that song specifically for Mason Sherwood first. And it was amazing. But then I realized, I asked mom and I said, I need to, Mason wants me to share this. So I made it so everyone has lost a child, which I don't like the word lost, because we never lose our children. We never lose ourselves unless we allow that. So remember that. That's very, very important. We bring them into, they're in another dimension. They could be angels or however you want. They're still there. But if they are not on this earth and you still are, how you can get through it. And the song is Love of a Child. Mm. So that was beautiful. My song about Perfect World, that is about the world. But I actually started writing it in a little tiny town called Ruidoso and our little town, Socorro, because we're very family and village oriented. Everyone works with each other, but we're not overlapping each other. We're not in each other's gossip or their lives, but if we need each other, we're there. And they work beautifully together. So if we could take those little villages and make the world a better place and just stop the segregation, stop everything of who's right, who's wrong. It's just a copy of everything that's been going around in centuries and centuries. We've got to break this chain. Yes. So I wrote that in bluesy. So you can kind of relax and realize, yeah, if the world could come together and play, you can start and play like a child. Stop looking at color, creed, countries, everything, so that's what I wrote for that. So I hope that helps everyone all over the world. And let's see, Queen Bee, I did not write, but I rewrote the way I like it because it was an inspiration from the movie A Star is Born in 1978 with Barbra Streisand and Kris Kristofferson, which ironically he just passed. So now he's another star in the Milky Way. And so that whole movie inspired me to be a queen bee, to see what you did. And I actually lived it with my second husband. He's journeyed, but he didn't get in a car crash, but it was a jealousy that broke us up. And he was my manager first. So, I mean, it was my life parallel with my second husband, and we performed together for 21 years. So I found that really beautiful. So I wanted to dedicate that to that movie and that inspiration to Barbara and to Kris. And then, so it's even amazing that it's even more, I want to dedicate it even more to them. But the album, let's see, what other songs did I do? I can't even remember. I love it. My sassy one, Never Give Up, which is also the platinum, and Grandfather. So how can I forget? So yes. Never Give Up. That is really about you. Don't give up on anything. But that was inspired by my childhood. And when I went recently to Hawaii on a trip, and we stayed in a hostel we had 3 other friends, my sister and I, a friend of mine, and another sister. And and it's usually 8 beds if you ever stayed in a hostel, and it's 2 rooms, and they're bunk beds. Well, these 2 young men came in from Australia, and they were boxers. And then there were 2 young girls under them from another country. And they were pretty full of testosterone. And now one of my dear friends, he's also my executive advisor. He is like a Buddha, and he prays and he goes to all the temples, and he looks like a Buddha also. He's amazing. And he said he wanted to make some food, and the kitchen was in their side. So they started antagonizing this man, and he stood there. And you stood there very quietly. And this guy got down, started to box you, tried to fight with you. And he said, very calmly, is this where you want to go? And he said it so calmly, and he just didn't stop his ground. He stood his ground, never give up. And it ended up that I went back to my bunk and ate some really cool nuts. They were really good, macadamia nuts. And I'm eating them like popcorn. And I'm praying and I'm saying, let's have it easy way, but I'm not, give up. Ended up that the young two men were kicked out, and the two women were put in another room. So we had the whole room. So that whole thing, just be in the room with me, doesn't mean just that, but that's part of the scene. But it's actually about you. When you walk into a room and you are positive and you are good and you are peaceful, and that's your whole phenomenal way, own it when you walk in that room. So that line is that you may stay in the same room with me. And I laugh. It's all about owning your own peace. Don't let frustration, fear, segregation, anything negative, no matter where you go, stop you. No matter where you go, have that in front. Absolutely not. Because when you came into the light, you gave your first breath, not your mom. You did. And with that said, you knew exactly from that moment on why you were here. And never let anyone take that away. They're tests of growth.
Right. Right. I heard someone recently say, all the answers are in your body. So if you listen to your body, you don't need to even listen to the mind. The body will show you the answer.
Absolutely. So that's why I wrote, I didn't write Grandfather, but Chief Fred Lighthorse did. And he gifted it to me at a powwow in Pennsylvania, about 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it started off with drum and just drum. And then it went drum, guitar. And then it went to a friend of mine who had cancer. She was a composer, so she put an orchestra behind it. And that's the video you'll see under Wind Spirit Drum, Grandfather. That's the original. And I rewrote it blues because I had a vision of this. Then this is the honest goodness truth, because I have visions and I also fly in my dreams. And, your soul doesn't need to sleep, but your body needs to rest.
Yes, it does.
Right? So this beautiful, beautiful Black woman came to me, and she woke me up and she said, Windwalker, you gotta do Grandfather again. And I said, but it's good. She goes, they don't understand that Indian stuff. They don't understand that Native stuff. You got to hit other people's hearts out there. They get it. So she said, sing it in the blues. So when you're walking with Grandfather represents not only your grandfather, but grandfather's son, and grandfather with the male of all the nourishments that you need for that male. And also it's all about creator too.
Oh, okay. That's the power I feel behind it. When I listen to this song, there's something that resonates around the world.
Exactly. It's about the creator. And we have, a lot of times I get asked, how many gods do you believe in, or things like that. And I always say, oh man, I got to get off the mountain more often. I thought there was only one, but hey, and I said, but I believe in I believe in all spiritualities, all religions, because they're a reason, like seeds. And that's the thing. My grandma would say, all religions and spiritualities like seeds for growth, not to hurt each other.
Right.
Not to do, right?
Yes. And while in the United States, and actually in many countries around the world right now, we have some elections coming up, and this is not a political show, but I think there feels like there's divisiveness or division among people. And there is a sense that perhaps we need to remember what's really happening for us, not against us.
I totally agree. I totally agree. And yes, I'm not a political person either, because I know there's a lot of political and politics out there that they're doing their job. They're doing what they need to do. That's their medicine. But I do keep up. And my grandmother used to say, you know, if evil and hatred was ugly, no one would go to it.
Mm,
It's always pretty and promising
mm,
beforehand. So to be to be totally honest, I just want the best for America since they took over and they decided their politics was going to be better than Native Americans, which we didn't have so many problems.
mhm.
But this is the way it is. It's reality, and I'm totally in it. I'm not living on a reservation, which I do help all the reservations,
Of
but
course.
but I do have things that I'm always about. Like we had council meetings, and the council meetings, when we had a council meeting about somebody and they did something wrong, that's not the first thing that we didn't slander them. What we did first is we told everybody in that room who knew this person all their good traits.
Mm,
Then we would address why you're here for today. So that immediately, because I feel that television and everything else, and don't get me wrong, I watch movies all the time. They're my escape. I love even
absolutely.
the black and white ones. Um, and I love comedy. So, but, and I watch every native one that I could find. But,
Yes.
basically when I see these slanders and these, I'm better than you, it just seems like this fear and not enough promise.
Mhm.
So if everybody stopped doing that and started really working on the promises without the fear, then there'd be a huge shift for what it was supposed to be.
And you mean the promises within ourselves as well. Is that
And,
right?
and within yourselves and the politics. If you're going to promise to do this and that for America, and you promise to do this, that for your town, promise that for your country, do those promises. Well, if they do get elected or they do have this or that, instead of working on fears, like you see the commercials, and they always do all these
Sure.
lies and they're just ridiculous. It's like adult kids on television. We teach our children not to do that, but the adults are slandering each other. And
Right.
that's just not right. It's just not a good way. And to me personally, that turns me off. That doesn't want to make me hooray for the other guy or girl, you know? And we were matriarchs. So if you and that's
Mm.
why we got cut off as far as our politics and our ways, because the women were the last ones to give the say,
Mm.
not the chiefs in
Right.
our, right? So, yeah, so matriarchal, I think the women could really bring this country back together because we're life giving.
We are. We are. We're very creative and we tend to support one another rather than tear each other down. We might in our small, jealous ways, but my experience has been that we really support each other and try to find common ground with each other rather than tear each other apart. And that's where our power is, really.
Absolutely. And we have to remind ourselves that's what I'm talking about. So that goes back to inner self. That goes back to having your own breath. That goes back, you came back as a female. That's what it's all about. So it's a full circle. It's not just one thing or another, or it's not a list. It's not a line. It's a circle, a
Exactly.
total circle. So if we keep thinking that way, instead of making lists or any things, even make your dreams in circles. Look at the moon. The moon's a circle. The sun is a circle. The world is a circle. So with that, if you start thinking in a circle mentality versus a list mentality, everything will connect.
Exactly.
Everything will connect that you need. Simple.
Can you sing a little bit of Grandfather?
I will. Hold on one
I've
second.
listened to it about a dozen times now, so I hope it ends
Aw.
up in a movie. I hope it ends up as a theme. It's very powerful and resonating, and I certainly felt it in my solar plexus, which is your energy and your will center and your self-esteem. And so I just found it a very powerful song, and somehow I personally find it really relevant to these times.
Thank you. Absolutely. And I'd be very honored. I love that song and I sing it. Like I said, I went over 30 years and I still tear up. And I was at Sony tearing up through that whole thing. And I was trying to be professional and it wasn't, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm at Sony. Then I was like, oh no, I love this song. So
That's what
the
it's
new,
supposed to do. Music is supposed to
right.
move us.
Aho, aho. Thank you so much for your beautiful, kind words. Thank you for getting me. You get me. You see me. Aloha. That's what aloha means. You, I see you. All right. Let's bring grandfather in, the creator. Come walk with me. Oh, grandfather, show me the way that I need to know. Come walk with me, oh, grandfather, for I have a long way to go. Hey, hey, yo. Hey, hey, yo. Hey, hey, yo. Hey, hey, yo. Come talk with me, oh, grandfather. Teach me those things that I need to know. Come talk with me, oh, grandfather, for I have a long way to go. Hey, hey, yo. Hey, hey, yo. Hey, hey, yo. Hey, hey, yo. The earth, let me see. I missed a line. I'm sorry.
It's perfect. It's perfect. That's beautiful. Um, so can you tell me a little bit about what that all means? And I certainly understand what it means. I sure feel it. I feel it in my heart. I hope our listeners and our audience feels it in their heart. But you tell me how you feel it should be perceived, or how it might be perceived.
This whole song is perceived to know that you are here for a purpose. You are beautiful. You are one. You are chosen. You walk Earth Mother. You are under this beautiful, beautiful light that shines upon you all the time. You chose to come here. You chose to rebirth. You chose to know that you were going to do something beautiful in the circle of life, your own personal circle of life. So when you feel despair or you feel that you're the only person that's going through it, or you don't want to go through things because you've seen somebody else go through it, and now you're going through it and you don't understand, or you feel punished, know that you are never alone. Sing this song. Walk with grandfather. Sing with the earth, the wind, the fire, the water. Those elements are you also. That's for your growth. That's what we grow with. We need those. So everything is connected. The only time you unconnect is when you decide to unconnect. And if you do, and it's a growing process, go for it, but always come back. But you're always connected. And you are an individual. You are you. And own that, because glory be, it is you. You are just absolutely incredible. And you just got to allow yourself to be oneself. Own it.
Beautiful.
Even my kitty went, meow.
That's so great. Yeah, it's very Powerful, very powerful. You live a life that's a little different than many people live. You live in a small community. I know you work with Mustang horses as part of your therapy work or healing work, I should say, more appropriately. Has that lifestyle supported you and empowered you in a way, and I understand you've lived like this for a while in different capacities, but do you feel this sort of more grounded lifestyle supports you in a very positive manner?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Mustangs and our other, we have two domestic horses also. One, she just turned blind, but she's
Oh,
doing great. And the other horse that came where they've been sisters for a long time. They are inside the yard, and then we have the Mustangs in the pasture. But yes, I have always lived a very, very simple, small town lifestyle. And we even raised my last daughter, my husband and I, uh, 8,000 feet on top of a mountain, totally off the grid. And we were building a log cabin with his grandfather's tools, old tools. And then we were living in a little tiny camper. So you really had to love your family. And we did.
yeah, that's tight.
We got,
We better get
right?
along.
We better get along. I mean, it was little with also a wolf dog and a
Oh my
couple
gosh.
cats. And yeah, it was like little tiny drag one, little tiny ones. And yeah, so it was wonderful because we taught our daughter too about more things that we had a town. The town was even smaller where I live now, which is population is 285 people.
Right.
So that
Not
where we
including the
raised
neighbors' dogs.
right. Yeah, usually I say 84 because it means you out of town.
Right.
Um, so we raised her that way. And she was homeschooled because my husband was a teacher and also an educator for challenged children. So anyway, so we did that for a long time. They went on a music tour. So we went from really on top of a mountain of hauling our own water and knowing how to dig in the ground to make your coolers for winter. And I mean, everything. We did it all. I cooked on a little wood stove and a little for our coffee was boiled. And we went to LA to the parade, the Rose Parade. And it was like, what? Wow. And it was like, so in that moment when we saw the highways where we're used to like a 2 lane, one in, one out. And if you see another car, it's a traffic jam and you actually wave to them, keep waving as they go by. To all this, it reminded me of an ocean filled with fish just going flying everywhere and everything. And it's just and that's how I took it. I took it as water. And I took it as because I didn't want, my first thing was fear. Because I've never seen this before. I mean, honestly, it's not that I was raised, like I said, I was always raised little. I was never raised in a city. With that said, I went from that lifestyle back to the mountain, and now back to this farm with my sister and West.
Cool.
And we still have the 10 half acres up in the mountain, but
Mhm.
my sister is a veteran, and we live in this tiny place, but it's 4.5 acres
Oh,
of
nice.
yeah, it's beautiful. I also work with children and give horseback riding lessons because I do have an associate's degree in equine studies.
Yep.
When I got it from Johnson and Wales College when it was just a college, now it's a university.
Yeah.
I know. But
So cool.
so horses saved my life.
Oh,
So
yep.
horses, I dedicate my life to, along with my grandmother's medicine that I do every day with people and my lifestyle. But the horses is something that if people can connect with, it's incredible because they go by emotion and it's real emotion that
Mhm.
we forget. Because even if we feel terrible, you might see your neighbor and like, oh, hi, how are you? You always go, good, how are you? You might feel like crap, right? We're not true to ourselves. You don't want to say to somebody, oh, I feel yucky today, but because we always were politically correct, we don't want to bother people, but horses straighten us out
It's true.
to be truthful to ourselves.
Yeah, they know. They know what you're thinking. They know what you're feeling. You can't lie.
And they hold you on that. They'll hold you until you get it.
Yeah, it's true. I've experienced that with my own horse in the last couple of days. Our relationship has really shifted. And, you talk to any if you follow the old ways of sort of cowboying, it that might not make sense. I'm a little more open to some other methodologies, especially because I'm finding that it works with my horse. So the more honest and open I am with my horse, the more we seem to create a solid relationship with one another. And some of the problems that I thought were his are mine.
Exactly. But he holds you until it's time for you to let go.
Yeah, it's
And
true.
right, without anything in return. They just don't want anything in return. And it's just wonderful because they're so truthful. I love that herd mentality because we are humans. We like herds. That's why we have friends, And remember too, people that come in and out of your life where they're positive or negative, they stay for years or they have stayed for 10 minutes. They're all part of your growth. And the things that even the negative things say, well, I learned wonderful there. I feel the strength and now I can let go. I can let go because now I can put in knowledge and I can teach others. There's that circle. It's not a list. Right. So
Exactly.
right. So that's, the horses with that herd mentality and they have a head mare, which is a mom. We do that too. And they listen and they respect. We lose respect and honor with not only out there because we shield ourselves so much, but within ourselves first. I don't care who it is. I will give somebody a smile or a wave or even a hey. They don't have to accept it, but at least I know that they heard me.
Exactly. I'm going to pause for just a second. We're going to run because we're using Zoom here. We're going to run out of time in just a couple of minutes. So do you want me to stop it and then send another link? Do you have time?
I do.
Okay. So I'm sorry that it seems discombobulated today, but
My life.
so I know, right? It's like how the day is going. So it's going to end here in a couple of minutes. And so I just wanted to be sure if that's okay. So if it blips out, I will just send you another link right away.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. So we have just a couple of minutes. How much influence does your lifestyle have on your music and what you hope to share with people?
It keeps me grounded. Keeps me grounded and really, really keeps my eyes open for things that are surrounding me in that moment. I don't wear the blindfolds. Everything is bright. Everything is like I'll see the butterfly. I'll see the hawk. I won't miss it. I look up, I look down, I look over, I look around, and then I realize when I'm seeing them go into flight or fight, running together in a herd, that's the time I know I'd let go with them. I run with them in my mind.
Oh, that's really interesting. Why is that? Why do you do that?
Because I trust them and I know they're if they're running together, then they're running away from something that they don't need. Because if it was to fight for, they would all stood and fight and fought for it. They're not fighting for it. They're running away because they're not part of their growth. They don't need it. They don't need it. So they all run together. Let's go.
That's very interesting. I personally appreciate that. There were some deer on the hill behind my house today in my horse pasture, and there were four, which I've never seen before. They were there briefly and then they took off.
For directions, kindness. Deer always go to their left. They're in a herd. You're being gifted the herd mentality and the deer medicine. You're going to see better, hear better, taste better, frolic more, and find the people that you want to frolic with that don't drag you down. And no yeah buts. Yeah, but it's Tuesday evening. Who cares? It's Tuesday evening and we're here.
Yeah, exactly. We're here right
like
now.
that.
We're here
Right.
right
Or
now.
Thursday or Friday, whatever, In other words, anything so start shedding out people that you don't need. You'll get back to them on that. And then bring and keep the herd that is very important for your growth.
Off the grid. There's a trend to try to find a more agriculturally oriented lifestyle, even if it means you're just getting a couple of acres or an acre and you're trying to plant a garden in the backyard and raise some rabbits or have a donkey. I don't know. So that's part of the trend in our audience is to feel that and experience that. So I thought it might be good for you to share how much you have received from living that way.
100% peace, harmony, balance in every aspect, even when I'm going through the hardest, craziest times. And don't get me wrong, I am not always, I'm always at peace, but I do have emotions and I express those emotions. And, but then I let them go because I go back to my peace. I acknowledge them, but I don't stay there. Even if, so not everything goes hunky dory in my lifestyle, in my life, but it has peacefully got me through everything that I need to get through, grow from, and teach everyone that I touch. So, with that said, the horses and how I live, when I come back from LA or any kind of trip or anywhere like Tennessee or anything like that, I enjoy it. I engulf it. But when I come back and I look out, the sunrise coming over the mountains and the horses out in the field, I take a deep breath and I go, this is me. This is me. I have, a farm and there's some dust here and there, but it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And that's who I am. That's what the horses remind me every morning that look around you, be alive. And before I get out of bed, before my feet touch the ground, which have big wood plank floors, I always say, I am so grateful. And leave it at that and let the world fall into and unfold for the day for me. And then I can share it. And that's my whole goal. So yes, it totally balances me. If people do this, you know what? You can start off with people. Okay, so holidays are coming up.
Right.
Okay, people go, oh my God, what am I going to get them? I got to run to Walmart, got to go to, Beals and everything. I'm not, I'm just thinking we have a very small town. That's basically what we have. And, and thrift stores, which I love. But why don't people start looking for the gifts of getting plants and or starting your own herb garden? They have like little squares. You can even put an apartment, your bedroom, and you can grow chives and basil. Start with that. Start something that you grew, and then you can either transplant it to something bigger and keep going, or you can use it for eating, which is very essential for us, our growth. So if you just do that and you make a spaghetti sauce, you take 2 basil leaves and you put that in that sauce, you grew that plant. That gets you back to your roots. It gets you back to simplicity. This electronic world is very, very fast. My era, my age is very hard. I know there's 91-year-olds that are doing better than me, but with my electromagnetic field, because we all have our own, right? This does not resonate with all electronics. Simplicity resonates with everything. I get my eggs from my dear friend who raises chickens. Her chicken hen is so darn cute, it's hysterical. And I get my beef from neighbors that I do trade with, because you can't sell it and I don't want it. So we do that. And so I know where my food is coming from. I do go to places. I do order a pizza, which I love pizza, things like,
Right. Right. I mean, we're still going to
basically,
have some of those conveniences. I mean,
oh yeah,
there's no sin in that.
not at all. That's another thing. Stop. There's no sin in anything. If your body, if it's a comfort food that's going to make you feel good, don't be crying in your hamburger. Be smiling. I got a hamburger. Smiling in your hamburger, or macaroni and cheese, or your grandmother's oatmeal cookies. Things like that, or a smoothie. Whatever. Whatever it is, food that's going to feed your belly. Don't put your tears and all your emotion in the food that comforts you. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do. And that's what happens. And then our body holds it so much. That's where we become aware. It's not that what we're eating, is how we're eating it emotionally, just like life, and everything is in a circle and a cycle. And if you think of things where it gets too overwhelming, think of it as water, like the ocean, like the highways or whatever your life is, or cities, or even long roads. Just think as water and let it flow, just like you, just like everything inside you is flowing. You came in water. You were born. You were grown in water. This is why we need water to survive. Another thing, speaking of that, to make sure that you know yourself, here's another fun thing you can do. It's really, really simple. And if I did it before, forgive me, I repeat
No,
myself.
please, I want you to. Please repeat.
Okay. I do this all the time, especially because I work with stones, river stones, ocean stones,
Right.
but I also do it my own water because we have a well. This is a well water that you can actually drink out of the hose outside. That's how amazing it is, right?
Mm.
So, but before, and I want you to do this experiment, even if you drink bottled water, whatever, water, okay, in any form, take a sip of it, be conscious of it, then swallow, be conscious of that, okay? Then think about it. Then I want you to think of a beautiful thought about you, what you love about you and life
Oh.
together, okay? Life and you together, just that moment. And either sing into it, and if you can't sing, say something beautiful. I am so blessed for this beautiful day. I am so blessed to be me in this beautiful day. I honor everything, whatever you want to say, and then sip it. And I guarantee you it'll taste different.
Hmm. That's beautiful.
Absolutely. So if you do that when you're taking a bath, sing in your water.
Mm.
When you are, anywhere, if you work in an office in those big jugs, take a sticky note, smile. It's a good day.
Huh.
Anything, people will smile. That vibration, and there's a beautiful Japanese doctor who
Right.
actually froze water. Yeah, and I love him. But we knew this prior to when I saw him, and I was like, and put him in my workshops and stuff. As far as look, way across all across the country, the world, this is happening. Water is life. You came into water and you gave your first breath. So that is so important to keep saying that when things become hard to go. Wait, I gave my first breath and no one can take that away.
Right. You talked about that in our previous interview about when things feel off, it's that our waters are off. The waters within us are off.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a way for us to sort of remedy those waters in an immediate, sort of practical way? At home, I'm having a bad day. I feel off. My electronics aren't working. Something whatever isn't working. Is that a way to sort of self correct through the day?
100%.
Mm.
100%. You can do that because that just brings you back to you. And that's a personal thing because you are a personal item. You are you. You're an individual. You chose this. You have your own aura. You have an electromagnetic field. You have your own fingerprints. It goes to everything. And you chose this for your soul to be carried for the better. So with that said, those two things have to go in beauty and peace. That's what we want in life. And it can happen. It really can happen. You wonder why some people can go through life peacefully without any aspect. They do. They have rough roads, but they choose not to allow that to have that anger, not allow that to have that poison that's going to stop them.
Let's keep talking about the water and the magic of the water. I find this super interesting. I've seen a lot of studies recently about water and its effect on us. Of course, what's great is that the Native American tribes have been practicing this forever. And it's always nice to see things validated by science. But at the same time, well, yeah, we knew that.
We do. And, being the Mi'kmaq, we're keepers of the waters too. And we're the dawn, keeper of the dawn, because of the waters. And water, my grandmother would say, that's who you are. You are water. And if you keep your waters clean mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, then you won't carry any dis-ease. You will have the peace and harmony and growth and knowledge and teachings that you need and will see and seek and then teach. If you have that dis-ease and allow that to get into your waters, you will be confused, tired, heavy, confused, feel lonely. Then down the road, you get disease because you're vulnerable.
So this is a practice we can do every day with our water to cleanse ourselves. It doesn't matter whether it's city water or well water or bottled water. We can charge that water ourselves, and we don't need a guru. We don't need, somebody who's a practitioner to do that for us. We ourselves can do that.
Absolutely, every day. You can even, when you take a shower, I thank Father Sky and the thunder, rain, and lightning and rain beings, for this cleansing. We all do that. We have a cleanse. We never think how good that feels, but when that water hits us, we all go, right? We let this deep breath. Breath is life. We let that negativity out into that shower, but when you drink it, when you drink your water, when you drink, you say something kind about you and the day. And that's it. And then you drink it. That's going to go back, and it's going to be the best medicine you've ever had in your entire life. They can't even shelve this because it's so individual.
It's just interesting. Interesting how our energy can transcend so much. I feel like, and I am not a scientist, but I feel like it's our fractal energy within our auric fields that can transcend so much that's available to us, whether it's water or food or even our clothing. And believe me, I know there's plenty of toxins in the world and plenty of toxins in our daily lives. So the fact that we have that much magic within us and that much power within us to affect our own well-being and probably the well-being of others is really powerful.
Absolutely. And that's what it is. You are power. You are your power. And, this is why we love heroes. We don't like the villains because we don't want to be like the villain. But we like our heroes because we want to feel that. And it's, I don't have to jump off a cliff on a bungee cord to feel euphoria, or feel that adrenaline. I feel the adrenaline every day when I look outside, when I see my animals, because we're also a kitty rescue. So I've got cats all around me. And it's so funny where I can't move. And right now I have 3 little kittens that they cut up with me. And, they just look up at you and you realize that you are there as a circle. Everything is a circle. And it's so grounding, and it's wonderful because they heal me, I heal them, and vice versa. Everything heals each other, but you have to heal yourself first. And when people ask me if I've gone through this and that, I have gone through a lot. And, and I don't regret any of them. But I'm not a lister. I'm a circle, and I believe that I was chosen to go through all that for lessons, for teaching of knowledge and strength and identity too, because I knew I could take it. I know I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior in the most beautiful, peaceful way. Now, if you are hurting someone that I know, I'll push you out of the way and I'll go forward, Right. So I have that instinct in me also. I'm fire, but I'm also the water, the blue of just peace and harmony, balance. If you have that, watch a child. Like my granddaughter has autism, and she is now 12, and I met her. She came with my daughter's beautiful man from a previous marriage, and I've been watching her grow since age 7 or 6, and now she's 12. No, 10. I'm sorry, she's 10, and she loves music. And I watch her, and one of the things that I love about her is she has no fear. That's a little scary, yes, especially with a child. But what I like about that is if we say we don't like it, or that's not good, she listens to that. She doesn't fear it, but she won't go near it. where we fear it. And sometimes we still run to it because we can't believe what we're seeing. Well, that's not good. That's that, unless it's helping you in different ways. So I watch her live life with this confidence, and she likes to dance, she sings, which is usually the opposite. Which thank goodness she chose this family, because that's what we are.
Yeah.
But if we look at children, first of all, if you look at newborns, they have all the answers. They have all the answers of life. They just can't speak it. So you look in their eyes, you can learn a lot, and then realize who you are. You can remember your first breath. Then you can go to toddlers, and then you see the confidence, and you see them growing into themselves. When you see that happening, like age 7 and 5 to 7, that's a real wonderful time to, you can even go back there and remember how you saw that butterfly, and that butterfly was just for you. Yes, it was. That butterfly showed itself to you that moment. Absolutely. That was not a mistake or just a coincidence. That's how in tuned you were. We lose in tuning, and we're losing more in tuning because electronics. Also, another thing, take a bucket of salt or Epsom salt underneath your computer and put your feet in it barefoot.
Ooh.
It's a negative ion. It'll pull all that electromagnetic field that's going through your body.
Oh, that's genius. Simple thing. So keep a bucket of Epsom salts near my computer.
Yeah, put it like where you sit, and it can be, I use sea salt, but you can use sea salt, Epsom salt, any kind of salt. Salt is a negative ion, no matter what salt it is. And put your feet in it while you're working. Not wet, fully dry.
Right.
Like kitty litter.
Don't electronic. Oh, that's
very
such a simple, very simple, very simple. That's genius. Easy thing to do, because I certainly feel overwhelmed after a whole day of electronics and being in front of the computer and editing and all the things we do. The phone, I live on the phone, and then I feel burned out. I'm at the end of the day, or at some point, and just have to ditch everything and walk away. But that's a great way to sort of release throughout the day.
Exactly.
Simple. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That's so appreciated. Great hack. So I want to circle back to your music a little bit, and I'm curious about Queen Bee, and how that came about, and really what your message is with that. I feel like our matriarchal selves, our divine feminine selves, are coming online even more powerfully, and also for our divine masculine counterparts, that there's an empowerment there also. It's just, there's a shift. So how do we sort of navigate it? Is Queen Bee part of that? Is that a way to help empower us?
100%. Yes. That's what inspired me years ago, even before I was a full woman. I knew that I loved the words to it, because it was all about matriarchal and being who you are and standing up for who you are. And, and we were living in a patriarchal world, and this is what it's all about. Always about patriarch. And listen to that, and wait for your father to come home. Well, no, we always went to our mother. My father would say, oh no, I'm not involved. You go to your mother, because it was all about respect, honor, and growth teachings. Why would we even interrupt that? Right. So the Queen Bee is that I felt that the women they've always been shunned down. I've had some things in my life that I think I'm probably the only one that was raped. I got to beat up my rapist, and then he sent me an apology letter in the mail like a week later. Because how did he get my address, people? Because I put the real one on renting my skis and boots at a chalet a ski resort. So be careful where you put your real stuff. Okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
No, it's okay. No, that's fine. It was great. I mean, who gets an apology letter? He said that I changed his life, that he will never hate women or do that to women again. And he was going to get help. I was like, well, the good. And it didn't stop me. my life at all. I had a 16-year marriage, a 25-year marriage, and 3 kids. Hello. So that's what I'm talking about. So Queen Bee was all about being who you are as a woman, owning who you are as a woman, and realizing that you have that beautiful power, that it's not about biting the heads off your husband or your mate.
Right.
It's about being that woman that you chose to come back as, and the feminine, and take over that and be it, because it takes, the bear, the lion that is regal, and the bald-headed eagle needs a woman just to keep them fed. That goes really deep. If you think about, there's a lot of things that mothers have kept, or wives have kept their husbands, alive by doing a lot of things. They
Right.
couldn't go out and hunt, things like that. So yeah, it's all about standing up and being the queen bee, and a beautiful, matriarchal, sexy, wonderful. And then you choose. Don't be chosen.
Exactly.
You choose everything. That's what your dreams are, is choosing what you want to be, where you want to be, and what you will become.
While being feminine at the same time, being our divine
Absolutely.
feminine selves. That is our real power.
Absolutely.
Can you
Yes,
sing it?
because
Do you mind singing a little bit? Just a tiny bit?
I would love that. That's funny. Okay. The black widow is sitting in the middle of the web, is a fly she seeks. You may be her lover, but you never will recover, 'cause she ain't had a bite for weeks. You think you're the same 'cause you got the same name, but the widow has them all at home. Remember what I told her? She's got 8 arms to hold you, and she's never gonna let you go. She tuck you in the bed, tuck on your hair, then she wrap you as a midnight snack. So if you see a spider, don't just saddle up beside you. Why do you think the widow's wearing black? Jack, the queen bee, baby. Pray that you may be left on your own. Gonna outlive you, gonna outgive you. But the queen bee's never gonna be alone. That's
Wow.
just you.
That is
Thank you.
cool. Applause, applause, applause.
Thank
Dang,
you.
you are rocking it these days. I mean, not that you haven't always been, but dang, these are gripping songs.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I finally got to do, I promised my grandmother I'd put all the traditional out, which I did. And I was very successful with that. And that was all for her. And this is all for her too. But I had to come out with more things that people didn't know about me. I was actually I was the opposite. I was actually sitting in Rio Doso with some of my friends who were also my clients. I do body work, Native American body work. And I take any disease out of your body, heal your inner waters. Well, I started talking about the Grammys, and she went, "You're a singer?" She didn't know,
Right.
because that's who I am. She knew me as the healer.
Right.
So I said, well, yeah. So I introduced her to that. But it's all, and I said, it was all about the balance of why I can do things. So reason right, this living life was all about them, all about you. Everybody out there is listening. Please tell them, in your friends, your family, say, Windwalker wrote this for you. Because I did. I wrote for each and every one of you that needs this. And I wrote it in some of them in 10 minutes, and I kept rewording it here and there. And some took a few days. Mm-hmm. And, I was picked up by a record company. It's Ritz Lagarza Records. Mm-hmm. And also Doc Holliday produced it. And, I just finally, I never gave up. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to teach the world that there's so much more out there, and you can do it. Literally, you can do it. Just
beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Just super cool. I can't wait to share this with our listeners and our audience. And we'll talk a little further about getting this music out, because I feel like music changes the world, it changes ourselves, it changes our communities. I mean, it's just a cool thing to be with on a daily basis.
Absolutely. Without music, I wouldn't be where I am. Horses and music, medicine,
Mhm.
all that. See, I think that it all entangled each other like a beautiful dream catcher,
Mhm.
or a quilt, or however you want to look at it, a wrapping of a feather, you know, each one is a prayer. I feel that once we acknowledge that and accept it and just let it flow, everything will go the way it's supposed to.
Mm.
Like we can't stop the disasters happening, but we can pray.
Yep.
Prayer works
Absolutely.
intensely because it's about our intention. You can talk yourself out of anything or talk yourself into something, right? That's intention. You can help heal people that you don't even know with your intention, with your prayer. It doesn't
Right.
even have to be, and there's waters right now like flooding here and there.
Yep.
And that's part of Earth Mother really cleansing. And it's very devastating to people and it's everything around, but they honestly will survive because they've survived so many times,
Mhm.
and that I know they will because I believe in them. They just have to believe in themselves.
And our prayers have that huge impact, much more than we have any idea.
Oh, absolutely. And sing them. If you don't know how, if you don't want to feel like praying, just sing a song. You can say, you can even sing, I'm wishing you happiness and love and balance. You know, I'm wishing you everything that you lost to come back.
So I want to discuss, do you have any upcoming appearances? What's happening with the music? How can people get in touch with you? Are you available for individual or group sessions for healing?
I am. Well, I do have a new website out too. It's www.teamwindwalker.com.
Awesome.
And that's a little like my bio. Yes, I'm ready for bookings. If anyone would like to book me for anything, I do travel and I love traveling by train, which is really beautiful. You really get to see, what's around you.
Mhm.
And you can get me also at my email at windspiritdrum@yahoo.com. And let's see what else. What
On
else?
Instagram.
Instagram, Windwalker2323.
Yep.
And then YouTube, you can just type in Windwalker Living Life or Amazon. It'll also come up Windwalker in the MCW, Wind Spirit Drum. Those are all my old groups. And my Windwalker in the MCW is still going, but it's my sister and I now.
Oh, cool. Very cool. I will,
Multicultural women.
yes, for sure. The power of that. I will list all of those in the description below and in the descriptions on Instagram and all of that. So um, I am super grateful for this. I feel like this is so important right now at this time. It's the fall. We've gone through the equinox. Soon's going to be Hallows Eve and Thanksgiving. It's just a big time of change in the United States and in the world. And your messages are powerful and meaningful and really deep in this earth. Cast. Be sure to tune in to every episode where we dive into a different rabbit hole of the known and unknown to empower you in conscious living and exploration of the greater universe. We hope you leave each episode with a little stardust in your hair and inspiration in your heart. With love from your soul fam. Word for our sponsors, Oweli Supplements and CBD Pure, both whom have generously offered to give you 15% off using the SoulFam podcast coupon code SoulFam, SOULFAM, and free shipping. And trust me, when you're ordering stuff like this, it actually really adds up. You can save quite a bit of money, several dollars for every order. Both Lexi and I have worked with these products and their companies, and we have firsthand experience, and we really like these companies, sincerely. Oweli, Oweli, Solfam.com is a supplement company that uses natural ingredients based on ancient knowledge coupled with modern science, which sounds a lot like the Solfam podcast. I am a huge supplement person. I take multiple supplements each day. The quality of Oweli supplements is high and effective, in my opinion. I take Move for joint health because I work out almost every day. I do yoga, I walk, I hike, I ride horses. And secondly, I mix collagen, peptides, hydrolyzed protein for a protein shake every day so I can be sure to get the right amount of protein in my body every day. And for women, I personally feel that's super important. CBD Pure, www.cbdpure.com, is made with non-GMO hemp grown without herbicides, pesticides, and other dangerous chemicals. Both Lexi and I feel like this is a stellar product. I use the CBD Pure 500 cream for pain in my neck from texting and working at a computer and a car accident I was in. Lexi uses CBD Pure Pet Health to help some of her posse of rescued cats who show up at her doorstep. They often have joint issues and other movement issues, and this product really seems to help Lexi's cats. Both products work superbly. No harmful side effects, at least from our experience. So once again, we thank our sponsors, CBD Pure and Oweli Supplements. We'll post links to both product lines on our Instagrams on my link tree and on YouTube and on our upcoming website, Patreon. Just remember the code for 15% off with free shipping, which once again adds up to a lot, is SOULFAM, SOULFAM. That's SOULFAM for our SOULFAM.